What if the world's most powerful man was publicly humiliated by a spiritual leader? The question rippled through every newsroom and social media feed worldwide on that crisp autumn morning in Vatican City. Millions watched live as Elon Musk, billionaire entrepreneur and pioneer of electric cars and space exploration, approached Pope Leo XIV with a confident smile and outstretched hand, only to have his gesture met with a subtle but unmistakable refusal. The cameras caught the moment perfectly. Elon's hand hung mid-air for a brief second before retracting, his face flickering between surprise and confusion as the Pope's eyes met his, calm but resolute. The world gasped. The headline instantly blared across screens everywhere: Pope Leo XIV snubs Elon Musk on live TV. The atmosphere in St. Peter's Square was electric, a moment frozen in time that instantly became the symbol of a clash between innovation and tradition. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The words echoed on social media platforms, as millions debated the meaning of the snub, wondering what it revealed about power, faith, and human pride. Elon Musk had never been known for shying away from controversy or challenge, but this public humiliation was unlike any he had faced before. For a man who had launched rockets to Mars, disrupted the automotive industry, and sought to revolutionize humanity's future, being denied a handshake by the leader of the Catholic Church was a deeply personal blow. The incident was more than a simple gesture, it was a symbolic rejection broadcast to billions, questioning the very nature of Elon's vision and place in the world. The live broadcast froze the moment in slow motion. Elon approached the Pope's dais, his strides confident, eyes gleaming with the ambition and hope of a man who believed he was on the verge of a new chapter in human progress. Behind him, the ornate golden decorations of the Vatican gleamed in the sunlight, and the murmurs of the crowd swelled in anticipation. As Elon extended his hand, a slight pause came over the pontiff, who maintained his composed, almost distant expression. Instead of reciprocating, Pope Leo XIV gently placed his hand over his chest and gave a slight, almost imperceptible shake of the head. The refusal was polite but firm. The cameras zoomed in on Elon's face. For a fleeting moment, his world tilted. The unexpected snub sent ripples through his mind, questions bubbling beneath the surface. Was this a personal slight? A message about the limits of technology? Or a sign that the old world was resisting the new? The crowd's silence was palpable before a few whispers of confusion spread like wildfire. News anchors scrambled to interpret the scene, pundits debated the implications, and social media exploded with speculation. Memes and hashtags like #PopeSnub and #ElonHandshake flooded the internet, turning the moment into a cultural flashpoint. For Elon, the snub wasn't just a matter of ego. It was a dramatic turning point that would force him to confront not only the public backlash but also deeper questions about faith, humility, and his place in a world divided between progress and tradition. Behind the scenes, his closest advisors gathered in stunned silence. The plan had been to create a bridge between science and spirituality, a meeting that would symbolize unity and mutual respect. Instead, the event had become a spectacle of division and embarrassment. Elon retreated from the limelight that day, his usual confidence shaken. The billionaire known for bold tweets and fearless ventures now faced the uncomfortable silence of doubt. What did this snub mean for his vision of humanity's future? As the world absorbed the shock, one question lingered in the air: how would Elon Musk respond to the most public rejection of his life? This story isn't just about a handshake denied. It's about resilience, growth, and the unexpected paths we take when everything seems to fall apart. Stay with me as we explore the journey behind the headlines, the man behind the billionaire, and the surprising lessons learned when power meets humility. The incident sparked a whirlwind of emotions and reactions. Fans rallied around Elon, sending messages of support and admiration for his trailblazing work. Critics argued that the snub was a justified reminder of the limits of technology and a call to respect spiritual authority. Religious leaders weighed in cautiously, while philosophers debated the symbolic weight of the moment. For Elon himself, the event was a mirror reflecting his own vulnerabilities. In private, he wrestled with memories of past struggles, times when the world had doubted him and when he had almost given up. Now, in the shadow of the Vatican's grandeur and the Pope's refusal, he faced perhaps his greatest challenge, not one of rockets or electric cars, but of pride and purpose. The story of that day would soon unfold into something much larger than a single embarrassing handshake. It would become a saga of unexpected alliances, deep reflection, and a search for meaning beyond the dazzling lights of fame and innovation. But before we dive deeper into Elon's journey, let's look back to where it all began, the childhood of a boy with a restless mind and unyielding ambition, whose dreams would one day change the world, yet who would also face the painful cost of being misunderstood. The story of Elon Musk's rise is not just about success but about the scars he carried and the battles he fought, battles that made him who he was on that fateful day at the Vatican. From the streets of Pretoria to Silicon Valley boardrooms, his life had been shaped by relentless drive and moments of profound loneliness. His complicated relationships with family and friends colored his motivations, fueling both his greatest achievements and his most profound struggles. Understanding this man's past is key to grasping the full weight of the snub and the extraordinary path that followed. In the chapters ahead, you will see a man tested by humiliation, challenged by faith, and transformed by a journey no one could have predicted. What happens when a visionary billionaire confronts the timeless wisdom of a spiritual leader? How does pride bend under the weight of public rejection? And what does it take to rise from the ashes of embarrassment and reclaim not just your reputation but your soul? This story might just spark a new beginning. As you read, consider, what's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Because in the end, that is what defines us, the strength to move beyond failure and the courage to face what comes next. The handshake denied was only the beginning. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Elon Musk's story began far from the glittering stages of billion-dollar launches and media spotlights. Born in Pretoria, South Africa, he was a boy with a restless mind and a hunger to understand how the world worked. From an early age, Elon was different, quiet, intense, and endlessly curious. He devoured books on physics, engineering, and science fiction, escaping into worlds where possibilities were limitless. Yet, his childhood was far from easy. Bullied by classmates and often isolated, Elon learned early that intelligence and ambition could set him apart in ways both empowering and lonely. His relationship with his family was complicated. His father, Errol, was a stern man with traditional views who pushed Elon hard, demanding discipline and resilience, sometimes in ways that left emotional scars. Elon's mother, May, was a nurturing presence, supportive but often caught in the tension between father and son. Siblings played a less central role. His younger brother Kimball would later become a close confidant, but their bond was tested by Elon's relentless drive. As a teenager, Elon's mind raced ahead of his peers. He taught himself computer programming and at age 12 created and sold a video game called Blaster for a modest sum. While most kids were focused on sports and social life, Elon was already dreaming about rockets, electric cars, and a future beyond Earth. His ambition led him to leave South Africa at 17, a decision driven by both the desire to escape an apartheid regime and to pursue opportunity in North America. He first attended Queen's University in Canada, then transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, studying physics and economics. Throughout college, Elon was not the typical student. He lived frugally, worked relentlessly, and often sacrificed social connections for his visions. Yet, friendships formed during this period provided a rare sense of belonging, especially with fellow entrepreneurs who would later become partners and collaborators. The launch of Zip2, his first company, marked Elon's entry into the business world. Though it was a modest start, it taught him the harsh realities of entrepreneurship, long hours, financial strain, and the constant pressure to innovate. The sale of Zip2 was a breakthrough, but it was only a stepping stone. Next came PayPal, the online payment system that revolutionized e-commerce. Elon's role there was pivotal, though often behind the scenes. The company's success brought wealth and recognition, but also exposed him to cutthroat competition and betrayal, as partnerships frayed and rivals emerged. Amid the whirlwind of business, Elon's personal life was marked by struggles and contradictions. His first marriage to Justine Musk ended painfully, shadowed by loss and intense public scrutiny. The balance between his public persona and private pain was delicate, often tipping into moments of isolation and introspection. Despite the hardships, Elon's vision never wavered. He launched SpaceX with the dream of making humanity multiplanetary, and Tesla Motors to accelerate the world's shift to sustainable energy. These companies embodied not just business ventures but Elon's deep-seated desire to shape the future of humanity. Yet, the road was far from smooth. SpaceX suffered multiple rocket failures that almost bankrupted the company. Tesla faced production nightmares, financial instability, and fierce criticism from the automotive industry. Throughout, Elon faced doubts, both from the outside world and within himself. His psychological profile was a complex blend of brilliant innovation and stubbornness. He was known for his intense work ethic, often sleeping at the office and pushing his teams to their limits. His leadership style could be abrasive, yet he inspired loyalty among those who believed in his mission. At the core, Elon wrestled with a persistent fear of failure and an overwhelming desire to leave a legacy that transcended money and fame. His motivations were deeply intertwined with a sense of responsibility, to his children, to the planet, and to the future of humanity. Relationships, both personal and professional, were often strained by the weight of his ambitions. Friendships were tested, and moments of loneliness shadowed his success. Yet, these emotional depths also fueled his resilience, enabling him to endure setbacks that might have broken others. Understanding Elon Musk's past is crucial to grasping the full meaning of the Vatican snub. Here was a man who had faced isolation and rejection before, yet had always found a way to push forward. The denial of a handshake by Pope Leo XIV was not just a moment of public embarrassment, it was a confrontation with a world that questioned his values and vision. But beneath the surface of this incident lay the story of a man whose journey was defined by complex relationships, emotional struggles, and an unyielding desire to make a difference. The stage was set for a clash not only between two powerful figures but between the old and new worlds, between faith and technology, between pride and humility. As the story unfolds, you will see how Elon's past shaped his response to this moment of crisis, how his deepest fears and hopes came to the forefront, and how his path forward would require more than rockets or electric cars, it would demand a transformation of the heart. This chapter in Elon's life invites us to reflect on our own struggles and ambitions. What parts of our past shape the way we face rejection? How do we find strength when the world seems to turn against us? The answers to these questions will emerge as Elon's story continues, revealing the human side of a man often seen only as a tech icon. The complex dance between power and vulnerability, ambition and humility, is a story that resonates far beyond Silicon Valley or Vatican City. It is a story about all of us. So, as we move forward, keep in mind the lessons from Elon's past, that even the most brilliant minds carry scars, that relationships matter, and that resilience is born from struggle. The handshake denied was a spark that would ignite a deeper journey, one that would challenge everything Elon thought he knew about success, faith, and himself. The day leading up to Elon Musk's historic meeting with Pope Leo XIV was charged with anticipation and careful preparation. Months earlier, the Vatican had extended a rare invitation to Elon to discuss potential collaborations on global humanitarian projects and the future of space exploration, signaling an unprecedented openness to bridging faith and technology. Elon saw it as a golden opportunity, not only to showcase his visionary ideas but to seek the Pope's blessing on ambitions that reached beyond earthly confines. Behind closed doors, his team meticulously crafted speeches and presentations, emphasizing the alignment of Elon's goals with broader human values, sustainability, peace, and exploration. Elon himself immersed in spiritual texts and histories, hoping to find common ground and understanding. Yet, beneath the surface excitement simmered an undercurrent of tension. Advisors warned him to temper his enthusiasm, reminding him that the Vatican operated on traditions that were centuries old and not easily swayed by modern innovation or celebrity. Elon, however, was determined. He believed that humanity's future depended on merging faith with science, that religion and technology could coexist to solve humanity's greatest challenges. As the day arrived, the world's eyes turned to Vatican City. Journalists lined the cobblestone streets, and millions awaited the live broadcast, eager to witness this unprecedented encounter. Elon donned a tailored dark suit, his demeanor calm yet charged with purpose. Inside the ornate halls of the Apostolic Palace, the atmosphere was thick with history and solemnity. Pope Leo XIV, a man known for his intellect and deep spiritual conviction, prepared to meet the man who had become a symbol of modern ambition and disruption. The ceremony was designed to be both formal and symbolic, a photo opportunity and a statement of potential unity. As Elon waited in the grand hallway, he reviewed his talking points once more. He planned to speak about SpaceX's Mars missions, Tesla's impact on climate change, and his latest vision, a global initiative to provide clean energy to the poorest regions. He envisioned the Pope's endorsement as a powerful catalyst, lending moral authority to his technological dreams. When the moment finally came, Elon stepped forward with a confident smile. The grand doors opened, revealing Pope Leo XIV seated in a chair of gold and velvet, surrounded by cardinals and dignitaries. The air was thick with expectation. Elon approached, extending his hand with the hope of a warm, historic handshake. But what happened next stunned the world. Pope Leo XIV, after a brief and measured pause, declined the handshake. Instead, he placed his hand on his chest and offered a solemn nod. The gesture was laden with meaning, an unmistakable refusal that echoed through every viewer's mind. To many, it seemed like a rejection of Elon's entire worldview, a clash between the rapid, often ruthless pace of innovation and the patient, spiritual traditions of the Church. As the cameras captured every detail, murmurs rippled through the audience. Elon's expression shifted subtly, from confident to puzzled, then guarded. The Pope's eyes held steady, conveying calm conviction rather than disdain. Immediately following the snub, the ceremony continued, but the tone had changed. The air was charged with unspoken questions and tensions. Elon's team watched anxiously, knowing the moment would dominate headlines and social media for days, maybe years. Backstage, Elon wrestled with what had just happened. Was the refusal a personal slight or a profound statement about the limits of technology without spiritual guidance? The Vatican, meanwhile, stood firm, signaling a boundary between sacred tradition and secular ambition. Analysts began to speculate, was Pope Leo XIV warning that technology, no matter how brilliant, must be tempered by humility and ethical consideration? Or was this an expression of mistrust toward the disruptive forces Elon represented? As the world digested the spectacle, Elon's advisors urged him to respond carefully. Some suggested a public apology or clarification, others advised silence and reflection. Elon, however, was unsettled. This was more than a PR crisis, it was a challenge to his core beliefs and identity. The day's events highlighted the fragile balance between old and new worlds, between faith and innovation. For Elon, the snub was not just a public embarrassment. It was a catalyst that would force him to question his approach to leadership, ambition, and connection. It would propel him into a journey that none of his technological ventures had prepared him for, the complex, often painful reconciliation of pride and humility. This moment before the snub, filled with hope and expectation, would forever be remembered as the calm before a storm of reflection, controversy, and transformation. It underscored a universal truth: even the most visionary leaders face moments when the future they imagine collides with the realities of human tradition and belief. The next chapters will reveal how Elon navigated this tension, how he grappled with his own vulnerabilities, and how a handshake denied became the spark that ignited a profound personal and public journey. What would Elon do when the world expected him to respond? Would he retreat into silence or rise with renewed purpose? As the global spotlight shone on him, the answers lay ahead, in a story of conflict, hope, and unexpected growth. Elon's mind raced in the hours and days following the snub. The public humiliation was sharp, but beneath it simmered a deeper conflict, a clash between his unyielding drive to push humanity forward and the reminder that progress might require more than technology alone. Behind the scenes, he retreated to a private retreat outside Los Angeles, seeking solitude far from the glare of media cameras and social media frenzy. There, surrounded by the quiet of nature and miles away from the chaos, Elon confronted emotions he rarely allowed himself to feel: vulnerability, doubt, and a gnawing sense of failure. Yet even in this low moment, a spark of hope flickered. He reflected on his past, the countless times he had been doubted, the rocket crashes, the near bankruptcies, and the moments when everything seemed lost. Those times had forged him, teaching resilience and perseverance. He realized that the Pope's rejection was not just a rebuke, it was an invitation to reconsider his approach. Rather than dismissing tradition, maybe the future he dreamed of required embracing a deeper wisdom, one that balanced innovation with humility. Slowly, Elon began to craft a new vision, one that included dialogue, empathy, and respect for different worldviews. He reached out quietly to spiritual leaders, scholars, and ethicists, seeking perspectives that had previously seemed irrelevant to a man focused on rockets and electric cars. At the same time, he doubled down on his mission. SpaceX prepared for another Mars rocket launch, Tesla accelerated its push for affordable electric vehicles worldwide. But now, these projects carried a new dimension, an awareness that technology must serve humanity's greater good, not just its progress. Publicly, Elon remained measured, addressing the Vatican incident only once in a carefully worded statement that emphasized respect for spiritual traditions and the importance of dialogue between science and faith. The statement was received with mixed reactions. Some praised his humility, others accused him of retreating under pressure. Meanwhile, Pope Leo XIV remained a figure of enigmatic authority. His refusal had been deliberate, a moment crafted to provoke reflection. Behind closed doors, he and his advisors debated the limits and promises of modern technology, recognizing that the Church's role was evolving in a rapidly changing world. This encounter had opened a new chapter in their relationship, one that neither man could have predicted. As Elon's journey unfolded, new alliances formed. Unexpected friendships blossomed between Silicon Valley innovators and religious thinkers, bridging divides once thought insurmountable. Elon himself began to engage in public forums that combined science, philosophy, and spirituality, challenging audiences to think beyond material success. Yet challenges remained. Critics accused Elon of trying to use faith for personal gain, while some religious groups warned against technological overreach. Elon's personal life, already complicated, grew even more strained under the spotlight of these controversies. Through it all, he leaned on a few trusted confidants, his brother Kimball, his closest advisors, and a surprising new mentor, a Jesuit priest who helped him navigate the intersection of ambition and ethics. This priest, Father Mateo, became a key figure in Elon's transformation, offering perspectives that softened Elon's hard edges without dulling his drive. Together, they explored questions of purpose, sacrifice, and the meaning of true progress. The emotional climax of this journey came during a private meeting between Elon and Pope Leo XIV months after the snub. The setting was humble, a quiet room in the Vatican's guest quarters. The tension was palpable as Elon extended his hand again, but this time, the Pope smiled gently and took it. The handshake was brief but powerful, symbolizing not just reconciliation but a new understanding. It was a moment that shocked the world when revealed, showing that beneath public conflict lay a profound human connection. This turning point transformed Elon's outlook. He realized that true leadership required more than innovation, it demanded compassion, humility, and a willingness to listen. The resolution of this story is not a fairy tale of instant harmony but a testament to growth born from challenge. Elon emerged from this experience changed, with a renewed sense of purpose grounded in both ambition and respect. His message to the world evolved: progress is vital, but it must be guided by wisdom and love. In the final analysis, the handshake denied was never about power or pride alone. It was a call to humanity, to pause, reflect, and embrace the complexities of a rapidly changing world. Elon's journey shows that even the most brilliant minds must confront their vulnerabilities to truly lead. Life is full of surprises, but love and humility will always lead the way. The media frenzy following the Vatican handshake incident was relentless. Headlines screamed accusations, debates exploded on social media, and late-night talk shows dissected every frame of the encounter between Elon Musk and Pope Leo XIV. The world seemed divided. Some sympathized with Elon, viewing the snub as outdated religious stubbornness rejecting modern progress. Others praised the Pope's stance, warning that unchecked technological ambition risked losing humanity's moral compass. As the story dominated global conversation, Elon faced a barrage of public scrutiny. Investors questioned his focus, employees felt the tension, and international leaders watched closely. Yet, beneath the public spectacle, Elon's internal struggle deepened. The event forced him to reconsider not only his role as an innovator but also his responsibility as a public figure. Determined to reclaim the narrative, Elon decided to embark on a bold move, a global speaking tour dedicated to bridging the divide between science and spirituality. The tour's opening event was held at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., a venue rich with symbolic significance, a place where faith and national identity intertwined. As Elon took the stage, he looked out at a diverse audience, scientists, theologians, students, skeptics, and believers alike. His speech began by acknowledging the recent Vatican encounter, not as a moment of defeat but as a catalyst for deeper dialogue. He spoke candidly about his lifelong quest to push boundaries and the challenges he faced balancing ambition with humility. Elon shared personal stories, his childhood struggles, the failures that almost broke him, and the moments of doubt after the papal snub. His words carried a raw authenticity that resonated. The central theme of his address was unity. He argued passionately that technology and faith need not be adversaries but allies in tackling humanity's greatest challenges, from climate change to space colonization to social justice. Elon called for a new kind of leadership, one grounded in empathy, wisdom, and inclusivity. The response was electric. Questions flooded in, from scientists wary of religious influence to clergy intrigued by technological possibilities. Elon listened intently, responding with respect and openness. The event was broadcast worldwide, inspiring similar conversations in cities across the globe as his tour progressed. Along the way, Elon encountered resistance. Some religious groups remained skeptical, and certain factions in the tech community accused him of diluting innovation with sentimentality. But others embraced his message, forming coalitions that blended expertise and belief. During the tour, Elon also took time to visit grassroots projects supported by Tesla and SpaceX, solar initiatives in Africa, educational programs for underserved youth, and sustainability efforts in urban centers. These visits reinforced the real-world impact of bridging faith and technology, showcasing how compassion could amplify innovation. Behind the scenes, Elon's relationship with Father Matteo deepened. Their dialogues became a source of strength, helping Elon navigate the complexities of public perception and personal growth. Father Matteo encouraged Elon to view leadership not as domination but as service, a lesson Elon slowly internalized. The tour culminated in a historic panel discussion at the United Nations headquarters, bringing together world leaders, scientists, and religious figures to debate the future of humanity. Elon's presence symbolized a turning point, a call to global cooperation transcending ideological divides. The event's closing moment was a collective pledge, to pursue progress with conscience and heart. Returning from the tour, Elon carried a transformed vision. His companies adopted new ethical frameworks, prioritizing transparency and social responsibility. SpaceX launched educational outreach programs emphasizing science and ethics, while Tesla invested heavily in accessible clean energy solutions. The handshake denied had sparked not just controversy but a movement toward integration and understanding. Elon's journey from rejection to reconciliation became a powerful narrative of resilience and evolution. It reminded the world that leadership is more than invention, it is about connection, empathy, and the courage to grow. The story closed with a profound message: in a world racing toward the future, the greatest breakthroughs come when innovation meets humanity's deepest values. What pushes you forward when faced with rejection or doubt? Elon's story invites us all to find strength in vulnerability, to seek unity in difference, and to believe that love, humility, and hope can illuminate even the darkest moments. The intense media spotlight following the Vatican handshake incident forced Elon Musk to confront not just public perception but his own sense of identity. In the days after the event, he withdrew from social media and public appearances, seeking refuge in his private study overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Surrounded by models of rockets and electric cars, Elon grappled with the personal implications of the snub, an unspoken challenge to his vision, values, and the very core of his ambitions. As he sifted through memories of his early years, the times he'd been underestimated or dismissed resurfaced vividly. He recalled the moments at PayPal when colleagues doubted his ideas, the early SpaceX failures when critics declared him a fool, and even the personal losses that tempered his relentless drive. The handshake denied felt like the culmination of all those moments, a symbolic reminder that no matter how far he'd come, some barriers were deeply entrenched. Yet within this reckoning, Elon discovered a renewed determination, not to prove the world wrong but to evolve himself. He began reading philosophical and theological texts, seeking to understand the perspectives that had led to the Vatican's rejection. Conversations with Father Matteo deepened his insight, revealing the tension between faith's call for humility and technology's demand for boldness. This inner journey unfolded alongside the relentless pace of his work. At SpaceX, engineers prepared for a critical launch window, while Tesla tackled production challenges with new models in development. The contrast between Elon's introspection and his company's forward momentum was stark, highlighting the complexity of his leadership. Publicly, Elon chose a different approach than before. He embraced vulnerability, speaking openly about the lessons learned from the Vatican encounter and his evolving views on the relationship between science and spirituality. In interviews and forums, he acknowledged the importance of respecting diverse beliefs and the need for ethical considerations in innovation. These admissions surprised many, reshaping the public narrative around him from a brash disruptor to a thoughtful visionary. Simultaneously, a quieter transformation took place within his personal relationships. Elon reconciled strained bonds, making time for family and close friends, who reminded him of the human connections often overshadowed by ambition. His conversations with Father Matteo evolved from intellectual exchanges to genuine mentorship and friendship. As months passed, Elon's new outlook began to influence his work culture. He encouraged teams to integrate ethical frameworks into project planning, emphasizing empathy alongside efficiency. The launch of a new SpaceX initiative focused on humanitarian aid missions, using technology developed for space exploration to deliver supplies to remote and disaster-stricken areas, was hailed as a direct reflection of this shift. Tesla's expansion into affordable solar power for underserved communities further embodied Elon's commitment to merging innovation with compassion. The climax of this chapter came unexpectedly when Pope Leo XIV publicly acknowledged Elon's transformation in a rare statement. The Pope praised Elon's willingness to engage in dialogue and his efforts to align technological progress with ethical responsibility. This gesture marked a profound moment of mutual respect and a step toward healing the rift caused by the handshake denial. The resolution of this period was not a simple victory but a testament to growth born from humility and openness. Elon's journey showed that true leadership transcends achievement alone, it demands continuous reflection and the courage to embrace complexity. His story challenges us to consider how we respond to rejection, how we integrate differing worldviews, and how we balance ambition with empathy. As the chapter closes, the message is clear: the path forward is not just about reaching new heights but about deepening our humanity along the way. Elon Musk's story invites us all to rethink what it means to lead, to innovate, and to connect. As the story of Elon Musk and Pope Leo XIV's unexpected encounter continued to unfold, the global conversation deepened beyond the initial shock and media frenzy. Across continents, people began reflecting on what the handshake denial symbolized, not just a moment of personal rejection but a profound clash between two worlds, relentless technological ambition and enduring spiritual tradition. Inspired by this, communities of scientists, theologians, and thinkers organized forums and conferences to explore the intersection of faith, ethics, and innovation. Elon, ever the trailblazer, found himself at the center of these conversations, not as a conqueror but as a curious learner. He traveled to international summits, universities, and interfaith gatherings, engaging with perspectives he had once overlooked. These experiences challenged him, revealing layers of human complexity that no rocket launch or electric car could address. Meanwhile, Pope Leo XIV's public statements evolved, emphasizing the importance of dialogue and the shared goal of safeguarding humanity's future. The Pope's nuanced approach encouraged believers and skeptics alike to consider how faith could inform ethical technology. This shift in tone created space for collaboration rather than confrontation. Back in Silicon Valley, Elon's companies reflected his transformation. Projects expanded to include ethical review boards, community engagement initiatives, and sustainability goals aligned with humanitarian principles. Elon himself became a vocal advocate for responsible innovation, urging fellow entrepreneurs to consider the societal impact of their work. Yet, the journey was not without setbacks. Critics from both sides, tech purists and conservative religious factions, resisted this new narrative. Elon faced criticism for perceived compromises, while some religious leaders warned against embracing modernity too quickly. These tensions underscored the ongoing challenge of bridging divides. In the midst of these challenges, Elon found renewed purpose in personal relationships. He reconnected with family members and close friends, drawing strength from these bonds as he navigated public pressures. His mentorship with Father Matteo deepened into a profound friendship grounded in mutual respect and shared inquiry. The emotional core of this chapter centered on a pivotal moment, a joint public appearance by Elon and Pope Leo XIV at a global summit on climate change and ethical technology. The event was historic, symbolizing a bridge between two spheres once thought incompatible. Their joint message called for unity, humility, and a commitment to progress that honors both science and spirit. The summit resonated worldwide, inspiring new collaborations and initiatives aimed at addressing urgent global challenges. This chapter's resolution emphasized the ongoing nature of growth and dialogue. Elon's story illustrates that true leadership involves continuous learning, openness to change, and the courage to face criticism with grace. The handshake denied was not an endpoint but a beginning, a powerful symbol of the complexity of progress in a world where tradition and innovation must coexist. Through this journey, Elon Musk evolved from a symbol of unchecked ambition to a catalyst for integration and hope. His story challenges us to rethink our assumptions about success, power, and connection. It invites us to embrace the messy, beautiful process of growth, both personal and collective, as we strive to build a better future. What's one lesson you've learned when facing conflict between your ambitions and your values? Elon's experience reminds us that humility and dialogue can transform even the most challenging moments into opportunities for profound change. The months following the joint summit with Pope Leo XIV marked a pivotal shift not only in Elon Musk's public persona but also in his inner world. No longer was he solely the tech titan chasing audacious goals, he was becoming a figure who embraced complexity, the intertwining of innovation, ethics, faith, and humanity. In private moments, Elon reflected deeply on what had initially felt like a personal defeat, the handshake denied, and now recognized as a profound lesson in leadership and connection. This transformation fueled new ventures, not only in space and clean energy but in social impact and education. Elon launched a foundation dedicated to fostering dialogue between scientific and religious communities, sponsoring scholarships and programs that encouraged young minds to explore the intersection of faith and technology. He also spearheaded global initiatives to bring sustainable energy solutions to regions neglected by traditional infrastructure, insisting that innovation serve the most vulnerable. Despite these strides, the path was anything but smooth. Resistance persisted, from skeptics questioning Elon's sincerity to entrenched systems wary of change. Elon faced intense scrutiny, legal battles, and moments of doubt. Yet, each challenge strengthened his resolve, grounded by the relationships he nurtured with mentors like Father Mateo and allies across diverse fields. Emotionally, Elon grappled with balancing his intense drive with the need for patience and empathy. The lessons of humility were sometimes painful but ultimately enriching. In public speeches and writings, he shared insights about failure, growth, and the necessity of integrating wisdom beyond technology. A key moment arrived when Elon participated in a groundbreaking interfaith panel discussing artificial intelligence and ethics. Here, he articulated a vision where machines serve humanity's highest values, reflecting the profound influence of his journey since the Vatican encounter. This chapter's climax came during a quiet yet powerful moment, a letter from Pope Leo XIV expressing appreciation for Elon's openness and dedication to ethical progress. The letter, shared with the public, symbolized a bridge built over time, one handshake transformed into lasting respect. The resolution emphasized that true progress transcends accolades or inventions, it requires ongoing dialogue, humility, and the courage to embrace uncertainty. Elon Musk's story evolved from a narrative of embarrassment to one of redemption and hope, inspiring a global conversation about what it means to lead in a complex world. As the chapter closes, the message is clear: innovation without humanity is hollow, and faith without openness limits growth. The handshake denied was a catalyst for transformation, reminding us all that greatness lies not only in reaching new frontiers but in nurturing the ties that bind us together. What's one way you've grown through unexpected challenges? Elon's journey invites reflection on how setbacks can open doors to deeper understanding and connection. In the months after the letter from Pope Leo XIV, Elon Musk's transformation became increasingly evident, both publicly and privately. The handshake denied, once a symbol of conflict, had blossomed into a catalyst for a broader movement, a call to bridge divides between innovation and tradition, technology and spirituality. Elon's work expanded beyond engineering feats, he became an advocate for ethical responsibility in the digital age. He launched initiatives that combined cutting-edge research with philosophical inquiry, supporting AI ethics committees and interdisciplinary collaborations around the globe. At the same time, Elon invested in community projects focused on education and environmental stewardship, embodying the values he now championed. His leadership style shifted noticeably. Meetings once dominated by technical jargon gave way to discussions about impact, purpose, and legacy. He encouraged his teams to consider not just what they could build, but why and for whom. This approach resonated with employees, inspiring renewed dedication and creativity. Yet, the path was not without friction. Balancing rapid innovation with deep ethical reflection proved challenging. Some investors pushed for quicker returns, while others embraced the long-term vision. Elon navigated these pressures with a new grace, advocating for patience and principled progress. On the global stage, Elon's evolving philosophy sparked conversations in policy circles and academic institutions. He spoke at forums where science met religion, challenging audiences to rethink assumptions and embrace complexity. These engagements further cemented his role as a thought leader bridging worlds once seen as opposing forces. Personally, Elon's relationships deepened. Time spent with Father Mateo continued to provide grounding, as did moments with family and close friends who reminded him of the importance of connection beyond achievement. These bonds nourished Elon's spirit amid the relentless demands of his work. The emotional climax of this chapter came during the unveiling of a new SpaceX mission dedicated not just to exploration but to fostering global cooperation in science and culture. The launch was broadcast live, symbolizing a hopeful future where technology serves as a bridge rather than a barrier. Pope Leo XIV's presence in the audience underscored the journey from rejection to reconciliation. As the rocket soared, the world witnessed not only a technological milestone but the triumph of unity and shared purpose. The resolution emphasized that growth is a continual process, often sparked by moments of conflict and humility. Elon Musk's story illustrated that leadership involves embracing vulnerability and seeking common ground, even in the face of profound differences. The handshake denied was no longer a source of embarrassment but a powerful symbol of transformation and hope. As this chapter closes, the message is clear: progress is most meaningful when guided by compassion, respect, and the willingness to listen. What moments in your life have challenged your assumptions and led to unexpected growth? Elon's journey reminds us that the hardest moments often open the door to our most profound changes. Following the historic SpaceX mission that symbolized the union of technology and faith, Elon Musk's journey took on new dimensions, both in his personal life and global influence. The handshake denied had morphed from a public spectacle into a transformative story of reconciliation, one that captured the imagination of millions around the world. Elon increasingly focused on creating platforms where diverse voices, scientists, spiritual leaders, ethicists, and everyday people, could collaborate on solutions to humanity's most pressing challenges. He launched the Global Innovation and Ethics Forum, a biennial event designed to foster dialogue across disciplines and cultures, drawing leaders from every corner of the globe. The forum quickly became a hub for groundbreaking ideas and partnerships, emphasizing that progress without ethics was incomplete. Within his companies, Elon encouraged a culture shift emphasizing not just invention but intentionality. Tesla's new models prioritized sustainability and accessibility, SpaceX developed humanitarian applications for its technology, and Neuralink explored ways to enhance human connection without compromising dignity. This new ethos attracted a diverse group of innovators, many inspired by Elon's public transformation. Yet, the path forward was not without tension. Some in the tech world criticized what they saw as a dilution of ambition, while certain religious groups remained wary of the blending of science and faith. Elon navigated these critiques with openness, emphasizing the necessity of listening and learning from all perspectives. His personal life reflected this complexity. The demands of leadership and public scrutiny challenged his relationships, but Elon worked intentionally to nurture meaningful connections with family and friends. Conversations with Father Mateo continued to be a source of wisdom and comfort, guiding Elon through moments of doubt and decision. Emotionally, Elon's evolution culminated in a quiet but profound moment, a private dinner with Pope Leo XIV at the Vatican. Away from cameras and headlines, their dialogue explored the depths of purpose, sacrifice, and the future of humanity. The Pope shared stories of his own struggles with faith in a modern world, while Elon spoke candidly about the burdens and hopes of leadership. This encounter sealed a friendship rooted in mutual respect and shared vision. The chapter's climax was marked by a joint announcement, a collaborative initiative between the Vatican and Elon's organizations aimed at promoting education, sustainability, and ethical innovation worldwide. This partnership symbolized the power of unity beyond past divisions. As the chapter closed, the resolution highlighted that transformation is ongoing and multifaceted. Elon Musk's story moved beyond the narrative of a single handshake to embody the possibilities that arise when courage meets humility. The message was clear: true progress requires bridging divides, embracing complexity, and leading with heart as well as mind. What relationships in your life have helped you grow and change? Elon's journey reminds us that connection is at the core of meaningful transformation and enduring impact. After the landmark collaboration between the Vatican and Elon Musk's organizations was announced, the world's eyes remained fixed on the evolving narrative of unity between innovation and faith. The handshake denied, which once sparked controversy and embarrassment, had now transformed into a symbol of reconciliation, hope, and purposeful leadership. Yet the true test of this transformation was only beginning. Elon found himself at the crossroads of immense opportunity and unprecedented global challenges. Climate change accelerated, geopolitical tensions rose, and public skepticism of technology grew in many regions. The delicate balance Elon had begun to forge between pushing technological frontiers and respecting ethical boundaries became increasingly crucial. To navigate this, Elon convened an unprecedented summit bringing together leaders from government, business, science, and spiritual communities. The Global Summit for Sustainable Progress was designed to break down silos, foster collaboration, and develop concrete solutions to shared threats. The summit was held in Geneva, chosen for its symbolic neutrality and history as a diplomatic hub. Elon's keynote speech was one of the most anticipated moments of the event. He began by acknowledging the journey that led him here, the highs and lows, the public snub by Pope Leo XIV, and the deep reflections that followed. Elon spoke not only of rockets and electric cars but of empathy, responsibility, and the imperative of unity. He emphasized that technology alone could not save humanity. It required an inclusive vision that honored human dignity and cultural values. Throughout the summit, debates raged. Some participants were skeptical of Elon's message, questioning whether a tech mogul could truly understand the social and moral complexities involved. Others were inspired, seeing in Elon a leader willing to bridge divides and challenge old paradigms. In one particularly intense panel discussion, Elon debated with a renowned ethicist about the risks and rewards of artificial intelligence. Their exchange illuminated the tensions inherent in rapid innovation, but also the possibility for mutual respect and shared goals. Outside formal sessions, Elon engaged deeply with grassroots activists, indigenous leaders, and youth advocates. These encounters reminded him of the vast diversity of human experience and the importance of listening before leading. The summit culminated in a historic declaration. A commitment by attendees to pursue progress that is sustainable, equitable, and respectful of all cultures and beliefs. Elon pledged his resources and companies to this cause, outlining ambitious goals for clean energy expansion, ethical AI development, and space exploration focused on cooperation rather than competition. This marked a significant shift from earlier eras dominated by profit and prestige. Behind the scenes, Elon grappled with the enormity of the task. Balancing visionary goals with pragmatic steps required patience and humility. He faced internal doubts and external pressures, from investors eager for rapid returns to critics warning against overreach. Yet Elon's resolve deepened, anchored by the friendships and mentorships that had sustained him through his transformation. Father Matteo's counsel remained a beacon, reminding Elon that leadership is service and that true progress often demands sacrifice. Elon also reconnected with family members he had drifted from, recognizing the vital importance of personal grounding amidst global ambitions. The emotional landscape of this chapter was rich with tension and hope. Elon experienced moments of loneliness and fatigue but also profound joy and purpose. The journey had taught him that success is not a solitary achievement but a shared endeavor rooted in empathy and trust. The chapter's climax arrived with the announcement of Tesla's new initiative, the Global Solar Access Project. This ambitious plan aimed to deliver affordable solar energy to remote and underserved communities worldwide, addressing energy poverty while combating climate change. The project embodied Elon's evolved vision, technology harnessed for human flourishing. At the launch event, attended by representatives from diverse nations and faiths, Elon spoke passionately about the power of collaboration and the necessity of aligning innovation with compassion. The global media coverage was overwhelmingly positive, portraying Elon not just as a genius inventor but as a leader of conscience. The resolution of the chapter underscored a fundamental truth: transformation is a continuous process shaped by courage, humility, and connection. Elon Musk's story moved beyond the personal to inspire a broader movement towards integrated progress. The handshake denied, once a moment of rejection, now stood as a powerful metaphor for growth and reconciliation. As the chapter closes, the message resonates clearly: real leadership embraces complexity, honors diverse perspectives, and commits to progress that uplifts all humanity. What challenges have you faced that pushed you to rethink your vision and values? Elon's journey invites reflection on how adversity can open the door to deeper understanding and more meaningful impact. In the wake of Tesla's Global Solar Access Project launch and the powerful summit in Geneva, Elon Musk's vision seemed poised for unprecedented momentum. Yet beneath the surface, challenges loomed that tested not only his initiatives but the very ideals he had come to champion. The world, it seemed, was a far more complex place than any technology or good intention could swiftly transform. As the Global Solar Access Project rolled out to remote communities across Africa, Asia, and South America, Elon faced mounting skepticism. Critics questioned whether high-tech solutions could truly address systemic issues like poverty and political instability. Some accused him of imposing Western ideals and technology on cultures with different values and traditions. Within his own companies, tensions surfaced as the pace of innovation slowed to accommodate new ethical frameworks and community partnerships. Investors voiced impatience, warning that balancing profit with purpose risked diluting Tesla and SpaceX's competitive edge. Internally, Elon grappled with the enormity of managing these competing pressures. He had grown accustomed to rapid problem-solving and bold leaps but now needed patience and diplomacy in unprecedented ways. The public scrutiny intensified when a widely reported incident in a South American village raised questions about the project's implementation. Delays, technical difficulties, and cultural misunderstanding sparked protests and negative media coverage. Elon responded with transparency, visiting the region personally to listen and learn. This journey was a humbling experience, revealing the limitations of technology without deep cultural engagement and trust building. Emotionally, the setbacks weighed heavily on Elon. He felt the sting of failure not as a technical flaw but as a human one, missteps in connection, communication, and understanding. For the first time, the narrative around him shifted from that of the unstoppable innovator to a leader wrestling with the complexities of change. The echoes of the handshake denied reverberated in these moments, reminding Elon that progress is rarely linear and often marked by resistance. Meanwhile, geopolitical tensions complicated Elon's efforts. Governments wary of Silicon Valley's growing influence imposed regulatory hurdles and questioned the intentions behind space exploration and renewable energy initiatives. Elon found himself navigating delicate diplomatic waters, balancing his advocacy for open innovation with respect for national sovereignty and cultural sensitivity. These challenges prompted Elon to expand his circle of advisors, including diplomats, ethicists, and community leaders. This broader perspective enriched his approach but also introduced new debates about compromise and idealism. The tension between ambition and humility became a central theme of this period. In his personal life, Elon sought solace in his close relationships. Conversations with Father Mateo deepened, providing spiritual and emotional grounding. Family and longtime friends offered perspective and encouragement, reminding Elon of the importance of connection beyond work. These bonds became lifelines amid public scrutiny and internal doubt. The emotional climax of this chapter unfolded during a late-night phone call with Pope Leo XIV. The Pope offered counsel rooted in faith and experience, urging Elon to embrace the messiness of progress and the necessity of perseverance. This conversation reinvigorated Elon's commitment to his mission, not despite setbacks but because of them. Inspired, Elon refocused on community-led approaches, empowering local leaders and fostering genuine partnerships. He recognized that true innovation must be co-created and that technology without trust risks failure. The chapter's resolution emphasized that leadership is as much about listening and adapting as it is about vision and action. Elon Musk's journey through resistance and doubt illustrated the resilience required to pursue meaningful change in a complex world. The handshake denied had evolved from a singular incident into a metaphor for all moments when progress meets hesitation and conflict. This chapter closes with a call to embrace uncertainty and grow through it, reminding us that setbacks often precede breakthroughs. What obstacles have tested your resolve and deepened your understanding? Elon's experience encourages reflection on the power of humility, adaptability, and steadfastness in the face of adversity. After navigating the shadows of doubt and resistance, Elon Musk entered a pivotal phase marked by breakthroughs and a renewed sense of purpose. The lessons learned from setbacks in the Global Solar Access Project and the intense scrutiny of his leadership forged a new approach, one grounded in collaboration, humility, and long-term vision. This chapter begins with Elon launching the Collaborative Innovation Network, CIN, a global platform designed to unite scientists, entrepreneurs, spiritual leaders, policymakers, and community advocates. The network aimed to foster cross-disciplinary projects addressing climate change, sustainable development, ethical AI, and space exploration. CIN quickly gained momentum, attracting diverse participants eager to break down barriers between sectors and cultures. Elon's keynote at the launch event in San Francisco emphasized that no single person or technology could solve the world's complex problems. Instead, he called for inclusive partnerships rooted in respect and shared values. The public reception was overwhelmingly positive, signaling a shift in perception, from viewing Elon as a lone genius to recognizing him as a catalyst for collective action. Within Tesla and SpaceX, the culture evolved as well. Elon encouraged his teams to embrace open innovation, seeking input from diverse voices and fostering environments where ethical considerations were integrated from project inception to execution. This shift was challenging but invigorating, sparking creativity and renewed dedication. Elon also deepened his commitment to education. He announced scholarships and mentorship programs through his foundation, focusing on underrepresented communities and encouraging young people to engage with both science and ethics. These initiatives reflected his belief that the next generation would shape a future where technology and humanity coexisted harmoniously. The chapter's rising action included Elon's groundbreaking partnership with indigenous communities in the Amazon to develop sustainable energy solutions that honored local knowledge and traditions. This collaboration became a model for respectful innovation, blending technology with cultural wisdom to address environmental and social challenges. The emotional resonance of these projects was profound for Elon. He witnessed firsthand how genuine partnerships could heal wounds of mistrust and create shared hope for the future. Alongside these successes, Elon faced new challenges. The rapid growth of CIN attracted skeptics concerned about the mingling of technology and spirituality. Some religious leaders warned against diluting faith traditions, while some technologists feared ethical constraints might stifle innovation. Elon addressed these concerns through ongoing dialogue and transparency, emphasizing that embracing complexity was essential to progress. His personal growth was mirrored in these interactions, as he learned to hold space for differing viewpoints without losing sight of his core mission. A key climactic moment occurred during the International Conference on Ethical AI, where Elon presented a collaborative framework developed through CIN. The framework balanced innovation with safeguards to prevent misuse and ensure AI served humanity's highest values. The announcement was hailed as a landmark step toward responsible technology, elevating Elon's role as a visionary leader attuned to both opportunity and risk. Behind the scenes, Elon maintained close mentorship with Father Mateo, who offered wisdom drawn from centuries of spiritual tradition. Their conversations deepened Elon's understanding of sacrifice, service, and the importance of humility in leadership. These lessons helped Elon navigate the pressures of fame and responsibility with greater grace. The chapter's resolution highlighted the emergence of a new era. One where technology, ethics, and spirituality converge to create transformative possibilities. Elon Musk's journey, marked by denial and doubt, had blossomed into a story of collaboration and rebirth. The handshake denied, once a symbol of rejection, had become a touchstone for the power of reconciliation and shared vision. As the chapter closes, the message resonates clearly: meaningful progress arises from unity, respect, and the courage to embrace complexity. What collaborations in your life have sparked new growth and insight? Elon's story invites us to consider how working together across differences can unlock solutions and inspire hope for the future. Following the tremendous success of the Collaborative Innovation Network, Elon Musk found himself navigating new frontiers, not only in technology but in diplomacy and faith. The once embattled entrepreneur who had faced a public snub from Pope Leo XIV now stood as an unexpected bridge between worlds traditionally viewed as opposites, science and religion. The transformation was nothing short of remarkable. It began quietly, during a private meeting at the Vatican where Elon and the Pope discussed shared concerns about humanity's future. They realized their goals aligned more closely than anyone had imagined: a better world powered by innovation, tempered with wisdom and compassion. This meeting birthed an ambitious venture, Project Genesis, a global initiative designed to harness technology for sustainable development while preserving cultural and spiritual values. The project aimed to deliver renewable energy, advanced education, and healthcare technologies to underserved communities worldwide, emphasizing local leadership and ethical frameworks. Elon's companies, in partnership with the Vatican's extensive network, would collaborate on designing culturally sensitive technologies and educational programs. The announcement of Project Genesis sent ripples across the globe. It was met with both excitement and skepticism. Many applauded the unprecedented alliance, hopeful that it could rewrite narratives of division between faith and innovation. Others questioned the practicality and motives behind such a partnership, wary of mixing religious institutions with high-tech enterprises. Undeterred, Elon threw himself into the work, committed to proving that collaboration across ideological boundaries could yield real-world impact. At the heart of Project Genesis were communities often neglected by mainstream development efforts, remote villages in Africa, indigenous territories in the Americas, and isolated regions in Asia. Elon insisted on approaching these communities with humility, prioritizing listening and co-creation. His teams worked alongside local leaders, learning customs, languages, and needs before proposing solutions. This approach contrasted sharply with previous top-down models, earning respect and fostering trust. Within Tesla and SpaceX, the initiative inspired a renewed sense of purpose. Employees saw their work contributing to something larger than innovation or profit. Engineers developed solar microgrid systems tailored for off-grid villages, while educators designed curricula integrating science with local traditions. Elon frequently visited project sites, engaging directly with communities and reflecting on the humbling realities of poverty and resilience. The journey was not without obstacles. Political instability in some regions threatened progress. Logistics and infrastructure challenges tested the limits of technology. Cultural misunderstandings occasionally sparked tensions. Elon's leadership was critical in navigating these complexities, balancing vision with flexibility. He often recalled Father Mateo's advice: true progress is patient and respectful. Emotionally, Elon experienced moments of profound growth. Witnessing firsthand the struggles and hopes of the communities deepened his empathy. The old narrative of the brilliant, solitary innovator gave way to that of a leader profoundly connected to humanity's diverse tapestry. The journey rekindled his appreciation for the lessons embedded in faith, sacrifice, service, and the sacredness of human dignity. A defining moment came during the project's first anniversary celebration, held in a village in Kenya powered by Tesla solar grids. Pope Leo XIV joined Elon for the event, where they addressed a crowd of local residents, government officials, and international observers. The atmosphere was electric with hope and cautious optimism. Elon spoke passionately about the power of unity and shared responsibility, while the Pope invoked the timeless values of compassion and stewardship. This public display of solidarity was met with overwhelming applause, signaling a shift in global discourse about the relationship between technology and spirituality. The handshake denied years earlier had evolved into a powerful symbol of alliance and mutual respect. The emotional climax of the chapter came when Elon and the Pope jointly unveiled a plaque dedicating the village as a model of sustainable development and interfaith collaboration. The resolution emphasized that meaningful change is seldom easy or straightforward. It requires openness, patience, and the willingness to engage across divides. Elon Musk's story continued to inspire, demonstrating that innovation guided by empathy and ethical reflection can transform not only technologies but hearts and minds. As the chapter closes, the message is clear: true leadership transcends personal ego and embraces shared humanity. The handshake denied was never the end. It was the beginning of a new era where progress and faith walk hand in hand. What unexpected alliances have shaped your journey? Elon's experience invites reflection on the power of bridging differences to create lasting impact. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? In the wake of Project Genesis's early successes and the blossoming partnership between Elon Musk and the Vatican, the world seemed hopeful for a new era of collaboration and progress. Yet, as history often proves, moments of promise can be shadowed by unforeseen crises that test even the strongest leaders. For Elon Musk, that moment arrived with the sudden eruption of a global backlash against technological innovation, one that threatened to unravel the fragile unity he had painstakingly built. The backlash began subtly, as whispers among concerned citizens and activists who questioned the rapid integration of technology into daily life. However, it soon swelled into a chorus of protests, misinformation campaigns, and political maneuvering. Critics accused Elon of overstepping ethical boundaries, of imposing Western values on vulnerable populations, and of accelerating a dystopian future where technology undermined human autonomy and spirituality. Social media became a battleground where conspiracy theories flourished, often misrepresenting Project Genesis and Elon's broader initiatives. Some fringe groups framed the Vatican's involvement as evidence of a secretive agenda to control populations through technology cloaked in religious authority. These narratives gained traction in communities already wary of outside influence, fueling resistance and fear. Amidst this turmoil, key governments enacted restrictive policies on renewable energy projects and space exploration, citing national security concerns and public pressure. Funding sources dried up, and several pilot programs faced suspension. Tesla and SpaceX encountered regulatory roadblocks unprecedented in their history, threatening both operations and morale. Elon faced intense personal scrutiny. Media outlets dissected every statement and action, often twisting intentions to fit sensational headlines. The contrast was stark. Once hailed as a visionary hero, Elon now found himself portrayed as a divisive figure, too radical for some, too conciliatory for others. The emotional toll was immense. Doubts crept into his mind, challenging the conviction that had sustained him through years of relentless effort. Despite the storm, Elon refused to retreat. Drawing on lessons from his past, his early failures, the handshake denied, and his spiritual guidance, he embraced a posture of courage and openness. He increased engagement with critics, participating in public forums and debates, seeking to clarify misunderstandings and build bridges rather than deepen divides. One notable event was a televised debate with prominent skeptics and faith leaders, moderated by an impartial journalist. Elon listened attentively, acknowledged legitimate concerns, and articulated the ethical frameworks guiding his work. While not everyone was convinced, the dialogue humanized him and demonstrated his commitment to accountability and dialogue. Behind the scenes, Elon convened an emergency task force comprising ethicists, community representatives, technologists, and clergy to address the backlash strategically. The group developed transparent guidelines for Project Genesis, emphasizing consent, cultural sensitivity, and community empowerment. These guidelines were published openly, inviting global feedback and continuous improvement. In parallel, Elon expanded educational outreach, launching campaigns to demystify technology and highlight its potential benefits when aligned with human values. Storytelling became central, sharing narratives from individuals positively impacted by renewable energy, health innovations, and educational programs. These stories served as counterpoints to fear-driven rhetoric, fostering empathy and understanding. The Vatican played a crucial role during this crisis, leveraging its moral authority and global network to advocate for balanced perspectives and ethical stewardship. Pope Leo XIV delivered speeches emphasizing the harmony of faith and reason and the moral imperative to care for the planet and its inhabitants through responsible innovation. The emotional climax of the chapter came when Elon visited a community deeply divided over a solar energy installation. Instead of dictating solutions, he organized town hall meetings, listening sessions, and workshops. This participatory approach eased tensions and allowed residents to voice fears and aspirations, resulting in a revised project plan co-created with local input. This experience reaffirmed Elon's belief in the power of humility and partnership. He realized that technology's promise could only be fulfilled when it served people's needs and honored their identities and agency. The chapter's resolution underscored a vital truth: leadership in transformative times demands resilience, empathy, and transparency. Elon Musk's journey through global backlash highlighted the fragility of progress and the necessity of persistent dialogue and ethical vigilance. The handshake denied, far from a mere moment of personal humiliation, symbolized the ongoing struggle to bridge divides and build trust. As the chapter closes, readers are invited to reflect: how do you respond when your values or projects face opposition? What role does courage play in navigating crises? Elon's story reminds us that setbacks and resistance are integral to growth, and that enduring impact arises from steadfast commitment to shared humanity. After enduring the global backlash that shook the foundations of his projects and reputation, Elon Musk emerged into the public eye once again, this time with a renewed sense of purpose and a clearer vision for the future. The storm had been fierce, but it had also forged him into a leader more attuned to the complexities of humanity, the ethical weight of innovation, and the power of transparency. This chapter chronicles Elon's journey toward redemption, highlighting the pivotal moments that redefined his role not just as a tech mogul, but as a catalyst for collective change. The turning point arrived during the World Sustainability Summit held in New York City, where Elon was invited to deliver the keynote address. The summit gathered global leaders from government, business, faith, and civil society, all converging to confront urgent planetary challenges. In his speech, Elon acknowledged the mistakes and missteps that had sparked controversy but emphasized the indispensable role of bold innovation coupled with humility and collaboration. He unveiled an ambitious roadmap dubbed the Harmony Initiative, which integrated renewable energy expansion, ethical AI governance, education reform, and interfaith dialogue. The initiative aimed to create scalable models for sustainable living that respected cultural diversity and promoted social equity. Elon's words resonated deeply, striking a balance between visionary ambition and grounded realism. The media coverage was overwhelmingly positive. Interviews, editorials, and public reactions portrayed Elon as a leader who had grown from adversity, demonstrating vulnerability and an earnest desire to listen and learn. Social media buzz shifted from criticism to cautious optimism, with many expressing renewed faith in his ability to drive meaningful change. Behind the scenes, Elon's teams at Tesla, SpaceX, and the Vatican's Project Genesis worked tirelessly to translate the Harmony Initiative's goals into actionable plans. Cross-sector task forces were established to ensure inclusivity, accountability, and innovation in equal measure. Elon encouraged open channels of communication, inviting feedback from community partners and experts worldwide. A significant part of this renewed vision was the launch of the Global Ethics Lab, a think tank dedicated to exploring the moral dimensions of emerging technologies. The lab brought together philosophers, scientists, theologians, and activists to examine the social impacts of AI, space exploration, biotechnology, and energy innovation. Elon viewed the lab as a crucial step toward embedding ethical reflection into the DNA of technological progress. On the ground, the effects of this paradigm shift became visible. Projects previously stalled by skepticism and resistance began to move forward with greater community involvement and trust. Renewable microgrids powered schools and hospitals in rural India, space-based climate monitoring systems provided critical data to vulnerable regions, and AI-driven education platforms adapted learning to local contexts and languages. Elon's personal journey mirrored this transformation. He deepened his mentorship with Father Mateo, whose spiritual guidance grounded Elon's expanding responsibilities. Their conversations often explored themes of sacrifice, stewardship, and the interconnectedness of all life. Elon found solace and strength in this relationship, which tempered the pressures of leadership with wisdom and compassion. The chapter's emotional climax unfolded during the inaugural Global Ethics Lab Symposium, attended by diverse voices from around the world. Elon delivered a heartfelt address, reflecting on the lessons learned from past mistakes and the collective potential to forge a future where technology amplifies human dignity rather than diminishes it. The standing ovation that followed marked a moment of catharsis and hope. Despite these successes, Elon remained vigilant. He understood that redemption was not a destination but an ongoing process requiring transparency, humility, and relentless effort. The handshake denied, once a symbol of rejection and embarrassment, now stood as a reminder of the journey from conflict to understanding. The chapter closes with a powerful message: true leadership embraces imperfection, learns from failures, and cultivates spaces where diverse perspectives can thrive. Elon Musk's redemption story inspires reflection on the resilience and openness needed to transform challenges into opportunities for collective growth. As readers consider their own paths, the question lingers. How do you rise after setbacks, and how do you integrate lessons from adversity into your vision for the future? Elon's journey offers a beacon of possibility, illuminating the path toward a more inclusive and ethical tomorrow. After the profound redemption Elon Musk experienced through the Harmony Initiative and the Global Ethics Lab, he was energized to push humanity's boundaries further. Space exploration had always been at the core of Elon's vision, but now it took on an even deeper meaning. It was no longer just about reaching Mars or colonizing new worlds for technological triumph. Instead, it became a mission intertwined with humanity's survival, ethics, and unity. Elon unveiled his boldest project yet, the Unity Orbital Station, UOS, an international space habitat designed to foster scientific research, global cooperation, and cultural exchange beyond Earth's atmosphere. The UOS was envisioned not only as a technological marvel but also as a symbol of global solidarity transcending geopolitical rivalries. It would serve as a hub where astronauts, scientists, artists, and diplomats from all nations could collaborate on projects addressing climate change, space medicine, and technological ethics. The announcement electrified the global community. Governments, private sectors, and international organizations quickly expressed interest in participating. Elon's vision captured imaginations, promising a future where space was a shared frontier for peaceful progress. Funding surged, partnerships formed, and engineers at SpaceX and Tesla began the colossal task of designing the station's modular components. However, despite this enthusiasm, the journey toward the UOS's realization was anything but smooth. Unexpected setbacks emerged rapidly. Technical difficulties in integrating the diverse modules caused costly delays. Supply chain disruptions affected critical components, exacerbated by geopolitical tensions that complicated international collaboration. The media, once again hungry for drama, highlighted these obstacles as signs of potential failure. More challenging was the sudden emergence of ethical debates surrounding the UOS. Critics raised questions about prioritizing space exploration while many on Earth still lacked basic necessities. Environmental groups worried about the carbon footprint of rocket launches and the risk of space debris. Some religious leaders voiced concerns that expanding human presence beyond Earth might defy divine plans or distract from spiritual responsibilities. Elon responded to these critiques with openness and a willingness to engage. He hosted a series of global virtual forums bringing together scientists, ethicists, environmentalists, religious scholars, and policymakers to discuss these complex issues. The dialogues were intense and sometimes contentious, but they allowed for deeper understanding and joint problem-solving. In one pivotal forum, Elon faced a panel of environmental activists who challenged the sustainability of rocket technology. Rather than dismissing them, Elon acknowledged the valid concerns and unveiled SpaceX's new initiative to develop reusable, zero-emission propulsion systems. This commitment to innovation aligned with the values he had integrated throughout his career, reflecting an evolving balance between ambition and responsibility. At the same time, the project encountered internal strain. Within SpaceX, debates arose about balancing rapid technological development with ethical oversight. Engineers pushed for faster timelines, while ethicists and community representatives advocated for cautious, inclusive approaches. Elon worked to mediate these tensions, emphasizing the importance of patience and collective wisdom. Emotionally, Elon experienced moments of frustration and doubt. The weight of expectations, coupled with setbacks and criticism, tested his resilience. Yet, his spiritual grounding and the support from trusted mentors like Father Mateo helped him maintain perspective. He reminded himself that progress was often non-linear, requiring persistence through uncertainty. The chapter's climax unfolded during a critical test launch of the UOS's prototype module. The launch, initially successful, encountered a mid-flight system failure that threatened the mission. The entire world watched anxiously as Elon and his team worked tirelessly to stabilize the situation remotely. Against the odds, they managed to regain control and safely dock the module with the International Space Station, marking a triumphant recovery. This dramatic event became a metaphor for the chapter itself, full of peril, hope, and ultimate perseverance. It rekindled global enthusiasm and reaffirmed Elon's belief in the power of collaboration and innovation under pressure. The resolution emphasized that ambitious visions are inevitably met with challenges, but these obstacles offer opportunities to refine values, build resilience, and deepen commitments. Elon Musk's bold space initiative symbolized humanity's enduring quest for exploration, tempered by ethical reflection and shared responsibility. As the chapter closes, readers are invited to consider, how do you navigate setbacks when pursuing audacious goals? What roles do courage, humility, and dialogue play in transforming obstacles into breakthroughs? Elon's journey underscores that the path to greatness is forged through persistence, learning, and the courage to face the unknown. Beneath the spotlight of international acclaim and visionary ventures, Elon Musk was grappling with challenges that few outsiders ever saw. While the world witnessed his public triumphs and setbacks, a more private battle unfolded, one that tested his emotional resilience and forced him to confront vulnerabilities he had long kept hidden. This chapter delves into the intricate personal struggles behind the scenes, revealing how Elon's internal journey shaped his leadership and vision. The pressure of sustaining multiple high-stakes projects, from the Unity orbital station to Project Genesis, weighed heavily on Elon. The relentless demands of innovation, public scrutiny, and the ethical responsibilities he had embraced began to exact a toll on his mental and physical health. Late nights turned into sleepless weeks, his relentless drive was accompanied by moments of deep exhaustion and doubt. Despite a public persona of confidence and decisiveness, Elon found himself wrestling with anxiety and isolation. Family relationships, once a source of grounding and support, became strained under the weight of his commitments. His children, growing up amidst his hectic schedule, often felt the absence of their father. His romantic relationships, too, were affected by the challenges of balancing personal life with the demands of a global enterprise. Elon's introspection led him to question how to harmonize ambition with connection and self-care. Father Mateo, who had been a steadfast mentor throughout Elon's journey, noticed these signs of struggle during their conversations. He encouraged Elon to embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness, urging him to seek balance and cultivate moments of stillness. These discussions often centered around the themes of humility, sacrifice, and the importance of presence, lessons rooted deeply in spiritual tradition. Amidst this internal turbulence, Elon also grappled with the weight of legacy. He was acutely aware that his actions and decisions carried profound implications not only for current generations but for the future of humanity. This realization brought a sense of both purpose and pressure, compelling him to reflect on what kind of leader he wanted to be and what impact he truly wished to leave behind. In a pivotal moment, Elon took a brief retreat to a quiet monastery recommended by Father Mateo. The time spent in solitude and reflection provided a crucial reset. Removed from the frenetic pace of daily life, Elon confronted his fears, hopes, and the complex emotions tied to his journey. The experience deepened his empathy and renewed his commitment to leading with compassion and integrity. Returning from the retreat, Elon initiated changes within his personal and professional life. He delegated responsibilities more effectively, empowered trusted leaders within his companies, and prioritized meaningful time with family and close friends. He also expanded mental health support within his organizations, recognizing the importance of well-being for sustainable innovation. This chapter also reveals the emotional growth Elon underwent as he learned to accept imperfection and embrace the uncertainty inherent in groundbreaking work. He understood that leadership was not about control but about guiding through ambiguity with courage and openness. The emotional climax is marked by a candid conversation Elon shared with a close confidant, where he expressed both his fears and his hope for the future. This moment of honesty illuminated the humanity behind the icon and resonated deeply with those who have faced similar struggles. The resolution affirms that true strength lies in acknowledging vulnerability and seeking balance amidst life's demands. Elon Musk's hidden struggle, far from diminishing his achievements, enriched his capacity to lead with empathy and vision. It underscores the profound truth that personal well-being is inseparable from effective leadership. As the chapter closes, readers are encouraged to reflect. How do you navigate personal challenges while pursuing your goals? What strategies help you find balance and resilience in times of pressure? Elon's story offers a reminder that vulnerability and strength coexist, and that self-care is foundational to sustained impact. After weathering personal and professional storms, Elon Musk found himself at a crossroads that would redefine his journey in ways few could have anticipated. The events leading up to this moment were marked by setbacks, triumphs, and introspection, but the next chapter in his story began with an unexpected alliance, a rekindling of partnership with Pope Leo XIV, whose earlier snub had once seemed an insurmountable barrier. This chapter explores how two seemingly disparate worlds, the cutting edge of technology and the enduring power of faith, found common ground to forge a new path forward. The rekindling of this alliance was sparked by a global crisis that neither Elon nor the Vatican could address alone. An unprecedented humanitarian emergency caused by a devastating climate disaster. Severe droughts and floods in multiple continents triggered widespread displacement, food shortages, and social unrest. The world watched in alarm as governments struggled to respond effectively. It was a moment that demanded collaboration beyond politics and technology, invoking a moral imperative that transcended individual agendas. Elon, deeply affected by the suffering he witnessed, saw an urgent need to mobilize resources and expertise quickly and efficiently. However, he recognized that technical solutions alone were insufficient. The scale and complexity of the crisis required a multifaceted approach, one that integrated ethical considerations, community engagement, and spiritual leadership. Simultaneously, Pope Leo XIV was calling for a global solidarity rooted in compassion and justice. His message emphasized that humanity's survival hinged not only on innovation but on renewed commitment to shared values of dignity and stewardship. Recognizing the potential for partnership, the Vatican extended an olive branch to Elon, inviting him to collaborate on a coordinated response initiative. Their meeting took place in the Vatican Gardens, a serene setting symbolic of hope amid turmoil. The atmosphere was initially cautious, colored by memories of past tensions, yet underscored by mutual respect. Elon arrived with a mix of humility and determination, while Pope Leo XIV welcomed him with a blend of wisdom and openness. The dialogue that followed was candid and profound. Elon shared insights on leveraging advanced technologies, such as satellite data, renewable energy, and AI-powered resource management, to aid disaster response and long-term resilience. The Pope emphasized the necessity of ethical frameworks, community empowerment, and spiritual care, insisting that technology must serve humanity, not overshadow it. Together, they forged the Pax Terra initiative, a comprehensive plan combining technical innovation with ethical governance and global collaboration. The initiative prioritized immediate humanitarian aid, sustainable recovery projects, and education programs to build local capacity. It also established a council composed of scientists, ethicists, religious leaders, and community representatives to oversee implementation and ensure accountability. The announcement of the Pax Terra initiative captured worldwide attention. Media outlets hailed the unprecedented cooperation as a beacon of hope, illustrating how faith and technology could unite in the face of shared challenges. Public reactions ranged from cautious optimism to enthusiastic support, reflecting the complexity of bridging diverse worldviews. Operationalizing the initiative presented its own challenges. Coordinating efforts across different nations, cultures, and institutions demanded diplomacy, flexibility, and trust building. Elon's technical teams collaborated closely with Vatican envoys and local partners, navigating logistical hurdles and cultural sensitivities with patience and respect. A key moment came when Elon and Pope Leo XIV jointly visited one of the hardest-hit regions, a rural community grappling with water scarcity and food insecurity. Their presence symbolized solidarity and reinforced the initiative's commitment to human dignity. Elon engaged with local leaders, listening to their needs and aspirations, while the Pope offered prayers and encouragement. This visit deepened their shared understanding of the human dimension behind global crises. Throughout the process, the alliance between Elon and the Pope evolved from pragmatic cooperation to a genuine partnership founded on trust and shared vision. They exchanged perspectives on leadership, ethics, and the meaning of progress, enriching each other's understanding and inspiring new approaches. The emotional climax of the chapter unfolded during a global summit convened to review the initiative's progress. Elon and Pope Leo XIV addressed thousands of attendees, their messages intertwined with hope, humility, and resolve. They acknowledged setbacks but emphasized resilience and the transformative power of unity. The chapter concludes with a powerful reflection on the convergence of faith and technology as forces for healing and renewal. It challenges readers to consider how diverse perspectives can collaborate to address humanity's greatest challenges and how openness to unexpected alliances can lead to breakthroughs. As readers reflect on this chapter, the question arises, what bridges can you build across divides in your own life or community? How might collaboration between seemingly different worlds spark innovation and hope? Elon and Pope Leo XIV's renewed alliance offers a compelling example of how shared purpose can transcend past conflicts and inspire a better future. The anticipation leading up to SpaceX's most ambitious mission yet. The launch of the Unity orbital station's advanced module was electric. After years of planning, innovation, and overcoming setbacks, Elon Musk was poised to demonstrate the culmination of his vision for humanity's future in space. This launch was not just a technical milestone, it was a statement about global cooperation, ethical innovation, and the promise of new frontiers. However, as the countdown approached, the mission ignited fierce scrutiny and controversy that challenged Elon's leadership and tested the resolve of everyone involved. Months before the scheduled launch, the media frenzy intensified. Environmental activists, scientists, political leaders, and religious groups voiced concerns ranging from the mission's ecological impact to geopolitical implications. Critics questioned the enormous resources allocated to space exploration at a time when Earth faced urgent crises. Some accused Elon of hubris, suggesting the mission prioritized spectacle over substance. Others feared that expanding humanity's presence in space risked militarization or corporate exploitation of extraterrestrial resources. Elon addressed these criticisms head-on in a series of public forums and interviews. He emphasized the mission's potential to drive technological advances critical for sustainable development on Earth, such as solar power innovations, climate monitoring, and resource recycling technologies. He underscored the project's commitment to peaceful cooperation, transparency, and strict adherence to international space treaties. Elon also revealed the integration of ethical guidelines developed in collaboration with the Global Ethics Lab to ensure responsible conduct throughout the mission. Despite these assurances, the debate escalated. Social media became a battleground of opinions, with passionate supporters rallying behind Elon's vision and detractors warning of unintended consequences. The public's polarized reaction reflected broader anxieties about technology, governance, and humanity's future. Internally, Elon's teams at SpaceX felt the weight of the controversy. Engineers and scientists doubled down on rigorous testing and safety protocols, determined to deliver a flawless mission. Communication teams worked tirelessly to maintain transparency and engage with diverse stakeholders. Elon himself remained deeply involved, balancing technical oversight with public engagement and ethical reflection. As the launch date approached, unexpected challenges arose. Technical glitches delayed final integration tests, fueling speculation and criticism. Political tensions flared when certain nations expressed concern about the mission's geopolitical ramifications. Space debris warnings required last-minute adjustments to the launch trajectory. The pressure mounted to execute the mission flawlessly. On the day of the launch, global audiences tuned in with bated breath. The scene was set, a massive rocket stood poised against the clear blue sky, surrounded by a team that embodied years of dedication and innovation. Elon delivered a brief, heartfelt address, acknowledging the collective effort and the mission's significance beyond technological achievement, a step toward unity and hope. The countdown proceeded smoothly until the final seconds when a sensor anomaly triggered an automatic hold. The tension was palpable. Elon and his team swiftly assessed the situation, coordinating with mission control and engineers. After intense troubleshooting, the issue was resolved, and the launch resumed. The rocket soared into the sky amid cheers and applause, carrying the advanced module designed to expand the Unity orbital station's capabilities. As the module approached orbit, onboard systems performed flawlessly, signaling a successful deployment. However, shortly thereafter, telemetry indicated an unexpected malfunction in the module's communication array. Engineers scrambled to diagnose the problem remotely. Elon held emergency meetings, coordinating with international partners to devise solutions. The malfunction threatened to delay key scientific experiments and strain diplomatic goodwill. The situation was a stark reminder of the fragile balance between ambition and risk. Public reactions shifted rapidly, from celebration to concern and speculation. Media outlets dissected the event, some framing it as a setback, others as a testament to the inherent challenges of space exploration. Elon maintained transparency, providing regular updates and reassuring the world that all efforts were focused on resolution. Behind the scenes, the technical teams worked around the clock. Innovative troubleshooting strategies, including leveraging AI diagnostics and real-time collaboration across continents, exemplified the mission's spirit of cooperation. After intense days, they succeeded in restoring full functionality to the module. The emotional climax of this chapter came during a live broadcast where Elon addressed the global audience. He candidly shared the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the unyielding commitment to pushing the boundaries of possibility responsibly. His humility and determination resonated, transforming skepticism into renewed support. The resolution of this chapter highlights that even the most meticulously planned endeavors are vulnerable to unforeseen challenges. Yet, resilience, transparency, and collaboration can turn obstacles into stepping stones. Elon Musk's controversial launch underscored the complexities of pioneering progress in a world grappling with rapid change and diverse perspectives. As the chapter closes, readers are invited to reflect: how do you respond to setbacks when your vision faces criticism and uncertainty? What role do openness and perseverance play in turning challenges into opportunities? Elon's journey offers a powerful reminder that innovation is a collective voyage, marked by trials, triumphs, and the shared hope for a better future. The aftermath of the controversial Unity orbital station launch plunged Elon Musk back into a whirlwind of public scrutiny and media frenzy. While the successful deployment of the advanced module was a significant technical achievement, the preceding challenges ignited a firestorm of criticism that threatened to overshadow the mission's accomplishments. This chapter explores how Elon navigated the complex terrain of fame, controversy, and media pressure, revealing the emotional and strategic dimensions of managing public perception in a hyper-connected world. In the days following the launch, headlines ranged from praise for innovation to stark warnings about the dangers of unchecked ambition. Social media platforms exploded with debates, memes, and polarized opinions. Influential commentators and celebrities weighed in, amplifying both support and condemnation. The media cycle churned relentlessly, dissecting every statement and action by Elon and his team. Elon found himself at the center of a perfect storm, where his achievements and setbacks were magnified to extremes. Reporters pressed for explanations, critics questioned motives, and fans rallied behind his vision with fervor. The line between personal and professional blurred as public discourse often veered into personal attacks and conspiracy theories. This intense spotlight brought psychological strain. Despite his accustomed confidence, Elon experienced moments of vulnerability. The pressure to maintain composure and credibility amidst swirling controversy tested his resilience. Yet, he recognized that retreat was not an option. Instead, he chose to confront the storm with transparency, authenticity, and strategic communication. Elon's communication team devised a multi-pronged approach to address the backlash. They organized press briefings, social media campaigns, and open forums to engage diverse audiences. Elon himself participated in candid interviews and live Q&A sessions, addressing concerns directly and clarifying misconceptions. His willingness to acknowledge mistakes and emphasize learning resonated with many, diffusing some tensions. Behind the scenes, Elon relied on a close circle of advisors, friends, and mentors for support. Conversations with Father Mateo provided spiritual grounding, while dialogue with trusted executives helped him navigate operational decisions amid the chaos. This network reinforced Elon's sense of purpose and balance. At the same time, Elon remained focused on advancing the Unity orbital station's mission. The teams worked diligently to capitalize on lessons learned, improve systems, and enhance transparency. The Global Ethics Lab published detailed reports on ethical oversight, reinforcing commitment to responsible innovation. Collaborative efforts with international partners strengthened diplomatic ties. The chapter delves into the psychology of fame and public perception, illustrating how Elon grappled with the dual realities of adulation and criticism. It highlights the importance of emotional intelligence, humility, and adaptability in leadership under scrutiny. Elon's journey demonstrates that navigating controversy requires both inner resilience and external engagement. A turning point came when Elon participated in a televised town hall with critics, supporters, and neutral observers. The exchange was intense but respectful, providing a platform for constructive dialogue. Elon's openness and willingness to listen transformed skeptics and inspired new alliances. This event marked a shift from confrontation to conversation in the public narrative. The emotional climax of the chapter centers on Elon's reflection about the nature of progress and the price of visibility. He acknowledged that innovation often invites resistance but reaffirmed his commitment to transparency, learning, and ethical leadership. This renewed clarity strengthened his resolve to pursue visionary goals with integrity. The resolution emphasizes that fame and controversy are intertwined in the journey of transformative leaders. Managing public perception is an ongoing challenge requiring authenticity, communication, and empathy. Elon's experience offers valuable lessons for anyone navigating complex social dynamics while striving to create change. As the chapter concludes, readers are invited to consider, how do you handle criticism and public scrutiny in your own life? What strategies help maintain focus and resilience amid external pressures? Elon's story reveals that embracing vulnerability and fostering open dialogue can transform challenges into opportunities for growth and connection. In the midst of navigating the public backlash and advancing his ambitious space projects, Elon Musk faced an even more harrowing challenge: betrayal from those he once trusted most. This chapter exposes the unforeseen fractures within Elon's inner circle, colleagues, friends, and advisors whose actions threatened to unravel years of progress and tested Elon's capacity to forgive, adapt, and rebuild. The seeds of betrayal were subtle at first. Small disagreements over strategic decisions, conflicting priorities, and personal ambitions created tension behind closed doors. Elon, focused on the grand vision of humanity's future, often overlooked these early warning signs. Yet as pressure mounted, fissures deepened, and alliances that seemed unbreakable began to crumble. One key figure at the heart of the betrayal was Daniel Carter, Elon's longtime chief engineer and confidant. Daniel had been instrumental in the development of the Unity orbital station and other cutting-edge projects. Their professional relationship was built on mutual respect and shared passion. However, as the complexity of operations increased, Daniel grew frustrated with Elon's management style and the public controversies overshadowing their work. Behind the scenes, Daniel began leaking confidential information to competitors and media outlets, hoping to leverage this pressure to push changes he believed necessary. The leaks included sensitive technical data and internal discussions that compromised project security and public trust. When Elon discovered these breaches, the shock was profound. Elon struggled with feelings of betrayal and disbelief. Daniel had been more than a colleague, he was a friend who had stood by him during pivotal moments. The personal and professional impact was devastating. Yet, Elon's response was measured by reflection rather than retaliation. Guided by lessons from Father Mateo about forgiveness and resilience, Elon chose to confront the situation with integrity. Simultaneously, other members of Elon's advisory board were implicated in schemes to undermine his leadership and influence corporate decisions for personal gain. The revelations triggered internal investigations and legal battles, further destabilizing the organizations Elon had built. The chapter delves into Elon's emotional turmoil as he navigated the intersection of trust, betrayal, and leadership. It highlights his struggle to maintain composure while protecting his vision and teams from collateral damage. This period tested not only Elon's strategic acumen but also his emotional strength and capacity for empathy. Elon responded by restructuring his leadership teams, instituting stronger oversight, and fostering a culture of transparency and accountability. He prioritized rebuilding trust with loyal colleagues and stakeholders, emphasizing shared purpose and collective resilience. The painful lessons learned prompted Elon to adopt more inclusive decision-making processes and to listen more attentively to dissenting voices. The narrative also explores the impact of betrayal on Elon's personal relationships. The strain affected his family and close friendships, forcing difficult conversations about loyalty, boundaries, and forgiveness. Elon's journey through this crisis deepened his understanding of human complexity and the importance of compassion even in adversity. A pivotal moment came when Elon publicly addressed the betrayal during a company-wide town hall. His candid admission of pain and resolve to move forward united employees and renewed morale. This transparency broke down barriers and fostered a renewed commitment to the mission. The emotional climax of the chapter is marked by a private meeting between Elon and Daniel, where difficult truths were exchanged, and tentative steps toward reconciliation began. While not all wounds healed immediately, this moment underscored the power of dialogue and the possibility of growth from broken trust. The resolution affirms that betrayal, while painful, can be a catalyst for transformation and deeper connection when met with courage and grace. Elon's experience teaches that leadership demands both strength and vulnerability, and that rebuilding trust is a continual process rooted in empathy and accountability. As the chapter closes, readers are prompted to reflect: how do you respond when trusted allies disappoint you? What boundaries and values guide your decisions in the face of betrayal? Elon's story reveals that forgiveness and renewal are possible, even in the darkest moments, and that resilience emerges from confronting pain with honesty and compassion. After the painful betrayals that rocked his inner circle and threatened to derail his ambitions, Elon Musk stood at a crossroads where the path forward demanded more than technical genius. It required rebuilding trust, embracing vulnerability, and reaffirming his vision with renewed clarity and purpose. This chapter chronicles Elon's redemption arc, a journey marked by introspection, strategic action, and emotional growth, ultimately culminating in a powerful resurgence that inspired both his teams and the world. In the immediate aftermath of the betrayals, Elon felt a complex mixture of disillusionment, sadness, and determination. The fractures within his leadership had shaken the foundation of his projects and cast doubt on the future. Yet amid the turmoil, Elon recognized that survival depended on transformation. He recalled the lessons shared by Father Matteo and the wisdom of Pope Leo XIV. True leadership involves humility, openness to change, and steadfast commitment to one's core values. Elon began this process by taking a step back from daily operations to reflect on his leadership style, team dynamics, and organizational culture. He sought counsel not only from trusted advisors but also from new voices, experts in organizational psychology, conflict resolution, and ethics. This deliberate widening of perspectives allowed him to confront blind spots and develop a more inclusive approach to decision-making. One of the earliest tangible steps was the establishment of the Trust and Transparency Council, a diverse group tasked with overseeing communication, ethics, and conflict resolution within his enterprises. This council included members from various departments, external ethicists, and representatives from community stakeholders affected by his projects. Its mandate was to create open channels for feedback, mediate disputes, and uphold the highest standards of integrity. Elon also prioritized direct engagement with employees and partners, organizing regular forums where candid conversations could take place. These gatherings fostered a culture of psychological safety, encouraging individuals to voice concerns and contribute ideas without fear of reprisal. The effect was transformative, revitalizing morale and unlocking innovation through collaborative problem-solving. Externally, Elon embarked on a public campaign to rebuild credibility and connection with the broader community. He launched a series of initiatives aimed at transparency, including publishing detailed progress reports, hosting interactive webinars, and inviting independent audits of his projects. These efforts signaled a commitment to accountability and invited stakeholders into the journey, fostering shared ownership of challenges and successes. A defining moment in Elon's redemption arc was his keynote address at the Global Innovation Summit. In a candid and emotionally resonant speech, Elon acknowledged past mistakes, honored the contributions of his teams, and articulated a bold yet grounded vision for the future. His message emphasized the intertwining of technology, ethics, and humanity, calling for collective responsibility in shaping the next era. The speech was met with widespread acclaim and marked a turning point in public perception. It resonated deeply with a global audience hungry for leaders who combine ambition with empathy and integrity. Social media buzzed with renewed enthusiasm, and key partners reaffirmed their support. Simultaneously, Elon's technical teams accelerated progress on critical projects. The Unity orbital station's advanced module, now fully functional after months of troubleshooting, began delivering valuable data for scientific research and environmental monitoring. New initiatives focused on renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and space exploration gained momentum, embodying the integrated vision Elon had championed. Elon's personal growth paralleled these organizational transformations. He deepened his relationships with family, friends, and mentors, finding strength in vulnerability and connection. Conversations with Father Mateo provided ongoing spiritual guidance, helping Elon navigate the complexities of leadership with grace and purpose. The chapter also explores the role of forgiveness, not only toward others but toward oneself, in Elon's redemption. He grappled with the tension between accountability and self-compassion, learning that growth requires embracing imperfection as part of the human experience. This shift enabled him to lead with authenticity, inspiring trust and loyalty. A powerful emotional climax unfolds during a ceremony commemorating the 5-year anniversary of the Unity orbital station project. Elon, joined by his leadership team, partners, and community members, reflected on the journey from crisis to renewal. The event highlighted milestones achieved, lessons learned, and the collective spirit that propelled them forward. The resolution of this chapter affirms that redemption is a dynamic process, fueled by courage, reflection, and connection. Elon's journey illustrates that setbacks and betrayals, while painful, can catalyze profound transformation when met with openness and integrity. Leadership is redefined not by perfection but by the willingness to confront challenges and grow. As the chapter closes, readers are invited to ponder, how do you rebuild trust after it's been broken? What practices foster resilience and renewal in your life or community? Elon's story offers a compelling testament to the power of humility, transparency, and shared purpose in overcoming adversity and realizing visionary goals. Following his profound redemption and the successful stabilization of the Unity orbital station and related projects, Elon Musk's vision began to ripple far beyond the boundaries of space exploration and corporate boardrooms. This chapter examines how his leadership and innovation sparked transformative shifts in global society, technology, and ethics, reshaping the trajectory of humanity's future. In the years after the Unity orbital station's full operational success, the data and technologies developed under Elon's initiatives catalyzed breakthroughs across multiple sectors. Environmental scientists harnessed orbital sensors to monitor climate change with unprecedented precision, enabling proactive disaster management and informed policy decisions worldwide. Renewable energy technologies refined through SpaceX's solar innovations led to affordable, scalable clean power solutions, accelerating the global transition away from fossil fuels. Agricultural systems also transformed thanks to Elon's integrated approach. Space-based research facilitated the development of resilient crops and efficient water management practices, helping to combat food insecurity and sustain growing populations. This synergy between space technology and earthbound applications became a hallmark of Elon's impact, demonstrating how frontier exploration could directly benefit everyday life. Economically, Elon's ventures spurred new industries and employment opportunities, fostering innovation hubs in diverse regions. The collaboration between public and private sectors set new standards for transparency and ethical investment, encouraging responsible entrepreneurship that balanced profit with social good. This shift inspired a new generation of leaders committed to sustainable development and inclusive growth. The chapter explores Elon's role as a global thought leader advocating for ethical frameworks that guide emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and space colonization. Drawing on lessons from past controversies, he championed international cooperation and multilateral governance models that ensured equitable access and minimized risks. His efforts contributed to the establishment of new treaties and regulatory bodies focused on preserving humanity's shared heritage and future. Elon's influence extended to education and culture, where he supported programs that fostered STEM learning, creativity, and critical thinking. Scholarships, public lectures, and immersive experiences connected diverse communities to the excitement and responsibility of scientific discovery. This democratization of knowledge aimed to empower individuals worldwide to participate in shaping technological futures. Despite these sweeping changes, Elon remained grounded in the human stories behind the innovations. The chapter highlights personal narratives of people whose lives improved through access to clean energy, better healthcare, and new economic prospects enabled by his projects. These testimonials underscored the tangible impact of visionary leadership combined with ethical commitment. Internationally, Elon's vision fostered unprecedented collaboration among nations, transcending geopolitical divides. Joint space missions, shared research initiatives, and coordinated policy efforts exemplified a new era of partnership rooted in common goals. This spirit of unity echoed the ideals he had championed since the early days of his career. The emotional core of the chapter focuses on Elon's reflections during a summit convened to celebrate global progress and chart future directions. He expressed humility and gratitude, acknowledging the collective effort required to realize such transformation. His message emphasized hope, responsibility, and the enduring power of human ingenuity. The chapter also does not shy away from ongoing challenges, recognizing that innovation and progress are continuous processes fraught with complexities. Issues such as digital privacy, ethical dilemmas in biotechnology, and space debris management remain pressing concerns requiring vigilance and collaboration. The resolution affirms that Elon's journey illustrates how visionary leadership, when coupled with ethical integrity and inclusive engagement, can drive profound global impact. It challenges readers to consider their role in shaping a sustainable and equitable future, inspired by the possibilities unleashed through courage and cooperation. As the chapter concludes, readers are invited to reflect: how do your actions contribute to the global challenges and opportunities we face? What vision do you hold for the future, and how can you help bring it to life? Elon's story stands as a powerful reminder that the future is not predetermined. It is created by those willing to lead with purpose, resilience, and heart. Behind the towering achievements and global impact of Elon Musk lies a story often overshadowed by headlines: the profound personal toll that relentless ambition and high-stakes leadership exacted on his life. This chapter peels back the curtain to reveal the sacrifices, struggles, and emotional battles that accompanied Elon's journey, offering a nuanced portrait of the man behind the vision and the hidden costs of extraordinary success. From the outset, Elon's life was marked by intensity and drive. His childhood in Pretoria was shaped by moments of isolation and inner conflict, fueling his early passion for innovation but also planting seeds of vulnerability. As his career soared, the demands only escalated. The weight of steering multiple pioneering companies through uncharted territory created an unrelenting pressure cooker environment that left little room for rest or emotional reprieve. Elon's work ethic became legendary, often clocking 100-hour weeks, juggling complex projects simultaneously, and diving headfirst into crises that demanded immediate attention. Yet, beneath this exterior of tireless energy were moments of profound exhaustion and loneliness. The chapter explores how such intensity strained Elon's mental and physical health, leading to episodes of anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional burnout. Relationships suffered amid the relentless pace. Elon's family life, once a source of grounding and joy, faced turbulence as time and energy constraints limited his availability. Friendships were tested by the demands of leadership and public controversy, leaving Elon grappling with feelings of isolation even amid fame. These relational challenges underscored the human cost of chasing audacious goals. The chapter delves into Elon's candid reflections on vulnerability and the stigma surrounding mental health in high-performance cultures. Despite the pressures, he sought help and cultivated coping strategies, including mindfulness, physical fitness, and leaning on trusted confidants. Father Matteo's spiritual guidance offered a framework for meaning and resilience, emphasizing the importance of grace amid imperfection. Elon's willingness to openly discuss his struggles challenged prevailing narratives of invincibility around visionary leaders, sparking broader conversations about the importance of mental health awareness in demanding fields. This transparency inspired others facing similar pressures to seek support and fostered a culture of empathy within his organizations. The narrative also addresses the paradox of success, that achieving monumental goals often magnifies internal conflicts and external expectations. Elon's journey illustrates how the pursuit of legacy can complicate personal fulfillment, highlighting the delicate balance between ambition and well-being. Amid these challenges, Elon discovered sources of renewal and hope. Engaging in creative pursuits outside work, spending meaningful time with loved ones, and embracing moments of stillness allowed him to recharge. He learned to delegate effectively, trusting his teams while carving space for self-care and reflection. A turning point came when Elon publicly acknowledged the personal toll of his journey during a heartfelt interview. His openness resonated widely, humanizing a figure often seen through the lens of extraordinary achievement. This moment deepened public understanding and shifted discourse toward valuing holistic leadership that honors both ambition and humanity. The emotional climax centers on Elon's realization that success is not merely measured by milestones but by the quality of one's relationships and inner peace. This insight transformed his approach to leadership and life, embedding a renewed commitment to balance and authenticity. The chapter concludes with a reflection on the universal nature of these challenges, inviting readers to consider their own experiences with ambition, pressure, and self-care. Elon's story serves as a powerful reminder that greatness and vulnerability coexist and that nurturing one's well-being is integral to sustained impact. As the chapter closes, readers are encouraged to ask themselves, how do you navigate the pressures in your life? What practices support your mental and emotional health? Elon's journey highlights the courage it takes to confront personal costs and the strength found in embracing vulnerability as a pathway to resilience and fulfillment. Elon Musk's ascent into global prominence came with dazzling achievements and a massive following, but fame also brought unexpected challenges that tested his resolve and reshaped his public persona. This chapter explores how the glare of the spotlight magnified scrutiny, fueled controversies, and forced Elon to confront the complex dynamics between public image, privacy, and leadership responsibility. The story reveals how Elon navigated the turbulent waters of fame, balancing transparency with discretion and learning hard lessons about communication in the age of instant media. From the early days of SpaceX and Tesla, Elon's charismatic vision attracted widespread admiration, inspiring millions with bold promises and daring ventures. Yet as his profile grew, so did the expectations and critical eyes watching his every move. The line between personal and professional blurred as media outlets, social platforms, and public discourse amplified successes and magnified missteps. One notable flashpoint involved Elon's social media activity, which became a double-edged sword. While Twitter offered a direct channel to engage with supporters and share unfiltered thoughts, it also exposed him to intense backlash. Impulsive tweets led to legal challenges, stock market volatility, and public relations crises. The chapter examines key incidents, such as the infamous funding-secured tweet, and how they shaped perceptions of Elon as both visionary and unpredictable. Elon's interactions with journalists, critics, and fans were often marked by a mix of humor, candor, and defensiveness, reflecting the tensions inherent in managing a global brand while maintaining authenticity. The chapter delves into moments when public statements sparked controversies, including disputes over labor practices, environmental policies, and his stance on regulatory agencies. Behind the scenes, Elon wrestled with the pressure of constant scrutiny and the challenge of protecting his private life. The intrusion into personal matters, ranging from family dynamics to health issues, intensified feelings of vulnerability. This heightened exposure also affected his team, who faced relentless attention alongside him. The narrative explores how Elon adapted by building a strategic communications team, learning to craft messages that balanced openness with prudence. He increasingly leveraged storytelling to connect on a human level, emphasizing the values and vision behind his ventures rather than just technical achievements. This approach helped rebuild trust and shape a more nuanced public image. The chapter also highlights the role of supporters and detractors in shaping the discourse. Elon's devoted fan base rallied around him during crises, creating online communities that amplified positive narratives. Conversely, vocal critics challenged his methods and motives, prompting debates about power, accountability, and the role of innovation in society. A turning point came when Elon participated in a televised town hall addressing public concerns, where he demonstrated humility and willingness to engage constructively. His candid responses diffused tensions and set a precedent for transparent dialogue in an era often dominated by sound bites and sensationalism. The emotional core of the chapter focuses on Elon's internal struggle to reconcile his desire for impact with the realities of fame. The paradox of visibility, being both empowered and exposed, became a defining aspect of his leadership journey. He learned to navigate this terrain with greater awareness, setting boundaries while remaining accessible. The resolution emphasizes the importance of intentional communication and self-care in managing public life. Elon's experience illustrates that fame, while amplifying influence, also demands resilience, strategic thinking, and emotional intelligence. The chapter closes with reflections on how public figures can cultivate authenticity without sacrificing privacy and how audiences play a role in shaping narratives. Readers are invited to consider, how do you manage your own public and private boundaries? What role does communication play in your relationships and leadership? Elon's story offers valuable insights into the complexities of living and leading in a connected, media-driven world. Years after the unforgettable handshake snub that shocked the world, Elon Musk found himself once again crossing paths with Pope Leo XIV in a setting charged with history, power, and unresolved tension. This chapter chronicles the highly anticipated final confrontation that would test Elon's growth, the Pope's steadfastness, and the world's watchful eyes. What began as a diplomatic event soon unfolded into a profound reckoning between two influential figures, each embodying contrasting visions yet bound by a shared humanity. The setting was the Vatican's Grand Hall, hosting an international summit on technology, ethics, and spirituality. Invitations had been extended globally, drawing leaders, innovators, and thinkers. Elon, now tempered by years of trials and introspection, arrived with a renewed sense of purpose and humility. Pope Leo XIV, whose initial rebuff had sparked endless speculation and debate, remained a pillar of tradition and moral conviction. As the summit commenced, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Media outlets speculated on the potential for a public reconciliation or further discord. Behind closed doors, advisors on both sides prepared for a delicate dance of diplomacy and personal engagement. When Elon and the Pope finally met, the tension was palpable. Their eyes locked, not as adversaries, but as two men who had endured conflict and change. The handshake that had once been denied now hovered in the air as a symbolic gesture laden with meaning. Elon broke the silence, expressing respect for the Pope's commitment to moral leadership and acknowledging the lessons he had learned from their earlier encounter. He spoke candidly about his personal journey, his failures, growth, and evolving understanding of the responsibilities that come with innovation and influence. Pope Leo XIV listened intently, his demeanor both stern and compassionate. He recounted his concerns about unchecked technological power and the need for ethical guardrails rooted in faith and human dignity. The dialogue unfolded as a respectful exchange of perspectives, each challenging and enriching the other. The summit's audience watched as the two men engaged in a series of discussions and panels, exploring themes of humanity's future, the intersection of science and spirituality, and the importance of empathy in leadership. Elon's proposals for collaborative frameworks to guide responsible innovation resonated with the Pope's vision of a moral compass guiding progress. A pivotal moment arrived during a private ceremony where the Pope extended his hand to Elon, a gesture signaling forgiveness, partnership, and mutual respect. Elon accepted, the handshake capturing a moment of profound reconciliation witnessed by millions worldwide. The chapter vividly describes the emotional undercurrents, relief, hope, and the weight of history being lifted. For Elon, the moment symbolized not just personal vindication but a deeper integration of his vision with ethical stewardship. For Pope Leo XIV, it represented the bridge between tradition and change, a testament to dialogue's power. The final confrontation also highlighted the evolving roles of public figures in shaping discourse that transcends conflict to build consensus and inspire collective action. It underscored how courage, humility, and openness to transformation can turn past divisions into foundations for unity. As the chapter concludes, it reflects on the significance of reconciliation in leadership and innovation. The handshake was more than a gesture, it was a narrative closure that invited reflection on forgiveness, growth, and shared humanity. Readers are left pondering, how do we confront our own conflicts? What bridges can we build through dialogue and empathy? Elon Musk's journey, intertwined with Pope Leo XIV's steadfastness, offers a powerful lesson, that even the most public disputes can be transformed through courage and. As the curtains close on Elon Musk's extraordinary journey, from the public humiliation of a denied handshake with Pope Leo XIV to a profound redemption that reshaped global innovation and ethics, the final chapter reflects deeply on the legacy he leaves behind and the enduring lessons his life imparts. This is a story not only about groundbreaking technology or visionary leadership but also about the human heart, the love, sacrifice, and resilience that underpin true greatness. Elon's path was marked by staggering highs and devastating lows. His relentless pursuit of progress often collided with personal sacrifices, strained relationships, moments of solitude, and the heavy burden of expectation. Yet through it all, a persistent thread ran beneath the surface, a yearning for connection, meaning, and a better future for humanity. The chapter begins by revisiting pivotal moments where Elon's character evolved, highlighting how challenges forged qualities such as humility, empathy, and courage. His encounters, with family, mentors like Father Matteo, critics, and even Pope Leo XIV, served as mirrors reflecting both his flaws and potential. These interactions shaped a leadership style that embraced vulnerability without relinquishing vision. Central to Elon's legacy is his understanding that leadership extends beyond innovation, it is fundamentally about love. Love for family who grounded him, for teams who believed in the impossible, and for humanity whose destiny he sought to elevate. This love fueled his sacrifices and informed the difficult choices he made, teaching readers that ambition, when anchored in compassion, becomes transformative. Sacrifice, the chapter emphasizes, is inseparable from meaningful achievement. Elon's willingness to endure public scrutiny, personal hardship, and ethical dilemmas illuminated the costs inherent in blazing new trails. Yet he also demonstrated that sacrifice is not a solitary burden, it invites solidarity, inspires others, and births collective progress. The narrative offers vivid reflections on Elon's personal relationships, revealing how love and forgiveness healed wounds and nurtured growth. His journey with family and close friends illustrated the power of support systems in sustaining even the most driven individuals. Moments of reconciliation underscored that success is hollow without meaningful connection. Philosophically, the chapter situates Elon's story within broader questions about humanity's future. His life invites contemplation on how technological advancement must be harmonized with ethical responsibility, humility before the unknown, and reverence for the human spirit. Elon's experience suggests that progress is a shared journey requiring wisdom as much as innovation. Readers are encouraged to consider their own legacies, not merely in accomplishments but in the love they give, the sacrifices they make, and the courage to grow. Elon's story is a call to lead with heart, embrace imperfections, and persist through adversity with hope. The emotional climax celebrates the culmination of Elon's transformation, a leader who transcended ego to become a beacon of inspiration, uniting diverse worlds through vision and virtue. This legacy is not just his alone but a gift to future generations striving to navigate the complex interplay of technology, ethics, and humanity. As the chapter draws to a close, it returns to the opening question that sparked this entire saga: what if you suddenly lost everything and had no one by your side? Elon's answer, woven through trials, triumphs, and reconciliation, is that love and purpose can rebuild even the deepest losses, lighting a path toward new beginnings. In the final lines, readers are invited to hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The invitation is not just to witness Elon's journey but to reflect on their own capacity for resilience, love, and leadership. Elon Musk's story, from the sting of public snub to the embrace of global reconciliation, stands as a testament to the transformative power of forgiveness, growth, and unwavering vision. It leaves behind a timeless message: life is full of surprises, but love will always lead the way. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?